I designed these shutters so they would just kind of press fit into the frames, and it works for a while, but eventually they did fall out. So I'm just using a little bit of this 3M VHB tape. This stuff works pretty good. So just kind of goes up there. Hopefully that'll hold. Yeah, that one's, I think there's just a little variation in probably the 3D prints and also maybe the castings. And then I have some new knobs. Like I'd done the knobs a little bit wrong, so this is the first knob that works. So then I'll just print the last 3 knobs when I go drop off my car at the workshop. Now it's time to go up into the forepeak here and wire up the bow lights, which have not been wired up since I replaced them a few weeks ago. So I think we're all hooked up here. I'm just going to use some zip ties to get these lines out of the way of the anchor. All right, let's go up above and see if that worked. Okay, so my navigation lights are working, and look, the spotlight also started working. I have had to go back and forth. I just ran back and forth a few times, very confused. I couldn't figure out what was going on, and it was a stupid mistake I made. When I labeled the wires, I labeled the front nav lights bow lights. I also labeled the spotlight bow light, and I had swapped them. So the other day when I was coming into the Ocracoke channel and my spotlight wasn't working, that was the problem. That was actually the thing that caused me to have so much trouble. Coming in that channel, it shows I think a lot around there, and there was probably it had probably changed over time, and they had put these kind of temporary channel markers that were just floating there unlit. And when I came in, I didn't see it until I was like on the wrong side of it and got into the shallows already. And by that caused me to try to do a quick tack or in a jive that didn't go well, and next thing I knew I was way outside the channel on the ground. So I think a working spotlight or headlight on the front of the boat is a pretty good safety thing to have, as long as it works. So I'm just going to switch these wires, and I will label them in a way that makes it very clear what they are and more sense to me. So I'm going to put these screens in, and the way these little clips, the way they work, these little clips, they just connect to here. Put that in there. Snaps right in, hopefully. I still have pretty good visibility. Not quite as good as without them, but it's a good trade-off. Some people have mentioned that PLA doesn't have good UV resistance, and I'm sure they're right. But I had my test screen sitting on the boat for probably 5 or 6 months, and seemed to hold up fine. I don't think they get as much UV as maybe let's say now, it's fully exposed, because it's only the UV for half the day. And even I have had stuff 3D printed that lasts a while in the sun. There's other materials you can use like ASA, and that probably would have been what I should have used, but I think this will last long enough. And if it does fail, I'll just 3D print them again. So yesterday David helped me get these things separated. They shouldn't even be touching. I don't know how they got so badly corroded in that period of time. I've had winches go for years without having to even clean them, and these winches I have to clean at least twice a year. I'm going to just put a little bit of machine oil on the gears and pawls, and then I'll do some Lana coat around here. Probably the aluminum stainless come together to try to keep that from corroding again, and then I'll put some grease on the inside of here, but not too much. Okay, so it's working again. Now I'm adding snaps to my storage bag. So here's the bag for the furling line. I feel like it's might fall out if we're heeled over, but I guess if we're heeled over that far, the line would be around the drum maybe, I don't know. And then there's the other bag. Again, it didn't quite hang quite how I would have liked, but good enough. Also, my snaps are not going on centered for some reason, so those snaps don't work. guess I have to drill those out and retry. And then I also made this engine cover, and I still need to do the screw stud for the snap, and that'll just kind of cover off all these controls because I don't know, these kind of get kind of faded over time, I feel like, and I've had issues with my engine controls, and now I'm putting these little connector studs on the Dodger, and this is my little bimini. I'll have another set of connectors here, but I ran out and I don't have time to order more. At least I can hang the cloth here, and then I can have this nice place to stay dry. I can keep that open sometimes. So now this, we'll just connect the two, and I only have enough of the fabric piece to do that one's on the ends, but eventually I'll come back to this. So all the four I have, the 4 sockets are connected. I need to do 4 more once I get more pieces at some point in the future. I think this will work for now. And the canvas I'm using is Acre. Gotta give them a shout out because they gave me a whole bunch for free. And it really is good stuff. It's just as good, if not better, than Sunbrella. 1, 2, 3. And actually the way this is shaped, if I put a little drain in the middle, I could probably catch rainwater. Although that's never been something I've needed to do. Darn, it's too tight. Okay, it took some forcing, but I got it on there. Hopefully that'll stretch out over time. Forget if this is one of those fabrics that stretches out or shrinks. And then this will be good. And if I do a drain there, I could catch water. So, staying out of the rain pretty much. There are 2 little side ones that I still have yet to do. I'm gonna need, again, a bunch more of these connectors. Or maybe I could use snaps for those. Snaps might work fine for that. Should have used snaps for the middle ones too. Yeah, that'll probably work. I'll do snaps for the side ones. I just got the sink finally unclogged, I think. Yep, it all drains out finally. I was not looking forward to having to swim down like I did last time to get that unclogged. So I gotta be careful washing dishes in this thing. It clogs up really easily. It just rained, and I'd say this thing definitely can catch me some water. This could be kind of annoying though, because I guess that's why they're normally arched. Good job on the canvas for keeping the water though, so I guess I'll do this one. So I've used these little snap shackles for a bunch of little projects. I got a bunch of them from China, and I've had them break on 2 occasions, and that doesn't really seem like you want something that's using for your lifelines that it was so easy to break. So I've got these bigger snap shackles. I still don't know the quality of them. Someone gave them to me, but they're a lot bigger, so I feel like they're less likely to break. What happens is usually the ring right here breaks off, but these rings are like welded together, so hopefully that ring can't come out. So I'm gonna replace these for my lifelines, and hopefully that'll also make it easier to tighten them, because I'll have a little bit of a bigger I don't know, dimension right there. I'm gonna go out and fill up my water tank, and I painted this kind of like concept for my next t-shirt. I want to have like the pickle with some big waves in front of some birds like Henrietta and stuff for samholmessailing. I think I'll maybe get someone to kind of clean that up for me and make it like really good. Back at the shop, here's my new window opening tool and the last few connectors. They all printed. So now I just piece these together. Pretty. There we go. One screen done. Now I'm at the grocery store filling up the cart to go across. Just stocked up for the Atlantic crossing. I I don't want to have to resupply in Bermuda, so I brought everything I need to get to the Azores. It was about $300 worth of groceries. I think the cost of groceries has gone up a little bit the last few days, it seems like. But I got a lot of stuff. Robots, cutting some a boat graphic. I told my friend I'd cut his graphic for him too, so that's what it's doing now. So this Pecan Grove Marina is super hooty snooty. Someone said I could keep my boat here. They own the slip, but then the marina manager, I guess, keeps trying to get rid of me. I don't really understand why. If the guy owns the slip, why can't I have my boat here? But whatever. I am going to be out of here tomorrow. I guess this is a hint that they want me gone. Just got back to the boat and I'm kind of spreading out all my provisions. And I need to try to fit all of this stuff into the fridge. Some of that I could maybe take out. So that's always a fun challenge, especially when this is all the fridge space I have. But I can do it. So I've got to start with a full thing of eggs at the bottom. Fish. Managed to get pretty much everything in there except for the salsa and a few eggs, but I'll have those eggs tomorrow morning. And I think the salsa will be fine for a few days until I can open up some space in there. This is all the non-refrigerated food I have, and I put my fruits and vegetables back there because I'll need to eat those before they go bad. And then I'm gonna put the bulk of the food in the old ice box. And then what I'll do is I'll pick out the food I'm gonna need for the first like 5 or 6 days, and I'll put it in this bin. And then it's really always hard to find what you want when it's like dug, when it's sunk down in there. And then after a few days, I'll maybe replenish this as I go. I think that'll be a pretty good strategy. Well, I've never packed this thing this full, but I think I've got enough food to cross the Atlantic and back probably 2 times. This is pretty excessive. It's way more food than I brought when I sailed to Hawaii. But I mean, I've got the room on the boat, I might as well. Then I just don't have to restock for a while. So I'm gonna take the bike and use it to shuttle my car back to the work. All right, dropped off the car. Now I take a 20-mile bike ride to get my legs. One last workout before I head out to sea for a while. Thanks for watching. My next video will be my departure video, and I'm going to time release that, so that will release while I'm out sailing. If you want to track where I am, my website is samholmessailing.com, and then you can click on the tracking link. Thanks for everybody who's contributed and helped make this happen. I'll see you guys next time.